now?
Yep, we are online.
All right, we're on live. This is my first live interview, so it'll be good practice for tomorrow when I do it with like 40 people. And I'm going to look at your page so I can share this to everyone if possible. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Let me.
Oh. Yeah, I'm making sure we are official. Yeah.
Share now. Oh, hold on. This is new, so I'm learning. I'm just going to share it on my. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So we're shared in my page, so we're officially started.
Yes. How are you doing, man? Good.
I'm okay.
Boom. Alrighty, man. So once again, thank you for coming to my page, doing this all the time. I know everything that's been going on. Aliens coming to the house.
Right? It's crazy. It's a crazy time. I think it's only going to get crazier, but we don't have to go into that.
Exactly. It's just we're gonna live for today and do for today, and today is your day.
All right. Yeah, I'm so glad to be on here. This is cool, 100%. And I think this is going to be. You're going to do more of these. I can tell.
Oh yeah, trust me, they ain't ready for it. So definitely for all the people, this is the only one and only Doug Rizio.
Thank you. He does. Yeah, it's true. If you search my name on Google, I'm pretty much the only person there. So
yeah,
I'm always happy about that.
And I definitely want to give you like really huge credit. I know you can just tell yourself better than I can. Tell the people who is the one and only Doug Rizio.
Well, I think number one, I'm an artist. I've always been one since day one, as long as I can remember. I was always drawing on my math homework and doodling on even walls and on random pieces of paper. And I think the key difference between me and a lot of other artists is that I never just draw something without thinking about it. I've always, like, whenever I have an idea, I dive deep into my own mind and sort of like, zone out and envision and design the ideas in my head that I want to put out onto the paper. And if you look up other visionary artists like Alex Gray, number one, his wife Allison Gray, and a few others, those are the kind of people that I want to emulate. So at some point, I'd like to be known as a visionary artist. I'm working on that. And I guess I could also say I'm an art curator or an event organizer.
Yeah.
I'm actually organizing a big, like, virtual art show tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. And tell me a little bit more in depth, like how that came along and the pretty much because for all folks that know, this guy has helped my art career as well. He was practically the third. It was technically my third exhibition when you did the neon whole black light out, and that was really your first event.
Oh yeah. Well, huge. I think that was my first. Let me backtrack. So by the way, how long do we have for this? How long do we have for the interview? I want to know how long.
This is like a good 20 minutes. This is like a good 30 minutes. You good.
All right, cool. So I started my very first art show in my own house when I was living in Somerset off of New Brunswick.
Yeah.
And I had it wasn't even an art show at first. It was just a meetup of artists.
Gotcha.
Sort of showcase their work, maybe like 5 or 6 people. And I thought that was cool, and I wanted to do a little show with people. So I invited more people over next time and had an official event where we put it all up on the wall. Yeah. And I think I had like a little musician lineup too, like 1 or 2 people, maybe even just one person playing guitar. But at the time, I knew a lot of people, musicians, artists, and otherwise.
Yeah.
And there was a huge turnout at my house, and someone bought an art piece right on the spot for like $80, and I was amazed. I thought that was the coolest thing, that that I could facilitate this trade. That someone would buy an art piece they liked, the artist would make some money, and I don't think I even made anything from that. I don't think I charged commission, but I was just really happy. So I kept doing that over and over again, and they got bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually I joined Alpha Art Gallery as an intern, where I met you. And we did a lot of, actually, you were the best video intern that was there ever, because I was there for another few months after that. And I don't want to disparage anyone, but I think you were definitely number one. I mean, your editing skills and everything. I was like, oh, wow, she's great. And you can check out all of her work on Alpha on their website with my interviews.
100%, yeah.
And then you actually later became an intern for Above Art Studios, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I did my first real big public official art show.
It was a huge outcome.
It was probably the best thing I'd ever done, even now, even up to now.
Yeah.
And after that, I thought, I don't know if I'll necessarily have a paying career doing this, but it's something I want to keep doing.
Yeah, it was the passion is just amazing, because the passion you have is so groundbreaking and just so amazing. How you come up with ideas, just you came up with the most greatest, like, out of the mind type themes. And it even, like, not only like challenged myself, but I know it, like, every artist that you chose, it challenged even them, because this was something that they didn't do out of their norm. So it made it even more fun to do that challenge and then make our pieces go up there. And when we see it all together, it was almost like one big masterpiece itself with everybody's own twist to it. And it was like, when I think of Doug Rizio, I think of Alice in the Wonderland. You never know what you're going to get.
Oh, that's great to hear. Yeah, I feel a similar way. I think it was really cool. And now, for those who may not know, what I'm talking about exactly, a few years ago, I organized this big glow-in-the-dark black light and LED exhibition. I could actually briefly show you some of the pictures from that.
Yeah, please.
Picture page. Let me briefly find that. Let's see. Come on now.
Well, yeah, and all you guys who are watching, if you got some questions or anything, definitely put it in the comments. We'll read them off too.
Definitely ask me. I'm an open book.
Yeah, this is not just only me asking questions. You guys can also ask something, and if you guys want to comment and such, or even just say something lovely, we're here to, like, also have you included. This is a conversation. This is just not one-on-one.
All right, so if you can see my share screen, are you able to put it up?
Yeah, let me help you out there.
Okay.
There you go.
So I'm probably not going to play the whole thing, but this is actually a video you made for me, and it came out so great. I couldn't believe how great it was. I'm going to have to mute this because it's too loud. But DJ recorded and edited an amazing video that showcased the LED artwork. Like you can see in the example, things that were glowing in the dark.
That was a hard project. That was a hard project to videotape.
Oh, I'm sure, because the lighting was probably unlike something you've done before. We had glow-in-the-dark blacklight drinks. And this was like, I felt like I really done something right here.
You did.
It just came out so cool. Everyone had such a good time.
Such a great time.
The music was amazing. The musicians were incredible. I had like one psychedelic musician and two psychedelic bands, and better and better, and they fit the vibe perfectly.
Yes, they did.
They were so good for it. And like you said, a lot of people had never worked, a lot of artists
Yep.
had never worked with this material before.
Yep.
And it was a challenge for them to do something new. It was a challenge for me to try doing this. And I put my heart and soul into that, and it paid off.
Oh, trust me, it did, because like, even for me, because when you told me about you was talking about this project way before you even found the place and such.
Oh yeah, I planned it out for months.
Yeah, you were playing out for months, and when you introduced it to me, I said, "Look, you find that place, and you are ready to do that moment and such. I'm down. I'll do your video for you. It's gonna be a challenge for me, but I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take that project, and I promise you, hands down." And when you told me you got the place and the whole space and stuff, I said, I made that deal with you. I made that promise with you. I'm going to vow it to you. And I didn't give you no excuses. And boy, when I tell you, that was a challenge. Because I even had to go. Remember, I went to community college. I had to go to my professor saying, did I do any of this correctly? When we were like practicing, remember, before we really got to the show, I was practicing on my own too, with my own art pieces. I was always constantly asking, am I doing this correctly? Is this right? Is this the correct way? Because I'm dealing with black light. This is a whole nother level with a camera. And he was like, you got this. You right. You good. And so I came with confident, dude. I came confident in everything. And I gave you my all too. So trust me.
You did. Oh, I was so happy with the video you made. I would pick you hands down over anyone else to do any of my videos again.
Thank you. It does. Now this is the perfect time to like really transition to like, you know, the inspiration, because you know, I really am actually curious about how you find your inspiration with creating and you know, pretty much the event organization. Like, tell me what inspires you through that.
I mean, that's a good question. Art shows and event organization, they didn't come until very recently, within the last few years or so. But in terms of my artistic inspiration, I think as a child, I always sought relief from the real world. Like whatever problems I was having in the real world, I always sought out media, like whether it was TV shows, cartoons, comics, anime, video games. I dove deeply into those realms. And I've always loved science fiction and fantasy because they're two things that are so different from our own reality in the real world that you can lose yourself in them. And you can be taken away to another dimension where the problems and the challenges of your normal life, they disappear for a little while. And so I lived in that state of mind as often as I could. And with the internet, God, there's so many shows, movies, comics.
Yeah.
It would be hard for me to pin down one single piece of inspiration. But definitely my artistry comes from the desire to create an alternate world. Not to reflect reality. Like some people enjoy making very photorealistic drawings of portraits or animals or scenes in nature. That doesn't interest me. What I want to do is to share my vision of another world so that you can be transported to. And that being said, I think that one of my favorite artists is someone who does just that. Alex Gray is an amazing artist. I'm going to briefly pull up him too.
Sure thing.
I can. Let's see.
And then after that, you can show us your work so we can go into details too.
Sure. All right. So Alex Gray is a visionary artist, and these are all traditional paintings that he makes, and it's he. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but he focuses on the reality behind the scenes, or above the scenes. Like, he doesn't just paint the human body; he paints the bones, the blood vessels, the veins, the energies behind the human body. And his artwork is transcendental. It makes you imagine. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And so, as you can probably see where a lot of this inspiration comes from. I'm trying to do similar things in my own work, although his level of detail is far superior to mine right now. But he's something to work towards. And if I can compare that to my own artwork, I mean, I think you can probably see the inklings of some of this inspiration. It's different. It's different for sure. And
that concept still has that concept.
Yeah, like as you can see, there's actually that piece behind me right here, and another one in the. How's my finger moving? I can't. It's hard to point properly. This one right there. And these pieces are sort of, they're kind of a little psychedelic, but they also evoke feelings of religious paintings too.
When did you do this piece? Is this your most recent piece, the one with the yellow and the gray characters?
Yes. So this is my most recent. This part of a set. These two pieces are a diptych, and they were from my latest show, the Reflections art project, back in February. I'm working on another piece now, but it's not quite done. And I'll scroll through some of my other artwork.
Sure thing.
As you can see, one thing that I like to do is I include a lot of pixelization.
Yes.
A lot of computer codes, a lot of glitch art, and my art is definitely very fantastic and definitely psychedelic, but it's also sci-fi. And this is all from a series that I'm working on called Glitchcraft.
Yes.
Which eventually will become its own comic series. And so as you can probably see, I'm very heavily inspired by video game aesthetics, by anime and manga, comics and American animation. They all kind of, and science fiction stories, fantasy stories, dystopian stories. They've all kind of coalesced and intertwined into this one single product that I'm exploring every possibility through.
And it's just really fascinating because I see where you took somebody's style and then you still twist it to your own. You have this nice blend where you, just like how you said, the inspiration comes from movies to video games to etc., and you blend it into your own alternative world. And that's practically the same concept as Alex Gray is. He has this perception and he puts it into his own amazing type of world. And that then brings me to, like, can you give us insight a little bit more of, the working and the current works that you're doing into your art shows and etc. Give us a little more sight about the rainbow.
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So I actually had all these shows planned out, probably like months ahead of time, maybe even a whole year. But this year I had 3 shows planned. The first one was the Reflections art project. I'm just going to keep sharing my screen because showing is better than telling, and I can show the audience, I can show everyone what I'm actually talking about. So let me do that again. So about a year probably over a year, maybe even 2 years after my Blacklight show, I decided to host the Reflections Art Project, which was a gold, silver, metallic, chrome themed, like retro future reflective art exhibition that took place on February 2nd, 2020, which was 2/2/2020. For some reason, numbers are playing an important part in my shows this year. I felt like 2/2/2020, there was like some sort of dualism happening in that date there. And I wanted us in that show to reflect on both the past and the future. And I did a photo shoot for that. You can see there's a lot of sci-fi vibes in the photos that I did. Shout out to Andy French and Lauren Pitcher Stone in those photos. And, you know, I put my own artwork in there as well. And with these shows, I'm not going to lie, part of it is a chance to get my own work out there. I mean, I'm always, whenever I imagine a show, I always imagine what piece I'm going to work on and what kind of pieces other people might submit as well. And all throughout this show, we had gold, silver, reflective pieces with shiny materials. And now my next show coming up is the Rainbow Art Show. And this one's a little different because I was going to do it in person. Like a lot of people had events planned, but as we know, the pandemic arrived unexpectedly, and everyone was put into quarantine. So I thought, at the time that I was planning this, it was way back in March, or really early March, just when this pandemic was starting to happen. And I thought, you know, I could try to do this in person, but I have a feeling it's going to last a little longer. So let me try for the very first time to do something completely remotely, and let me invite more people to participate. And so, you know, I made my flyers. I invited a whole group of people to submit their own color-themed selfies, because, you know, not everyone is an artist, but they want to be involved in some sort of creative project, especially now when, you know, people have a lot of time on their hands.
Exactly.
And how sad is it that Pride Month, which is the whole month of June, is basically almost canceled. And a whole bunch of LGBTQ people and people of color who would want to celebrate this event, they're not. And all the allies that want to be a part of it too, they can't really do anything. There's no Pride Parade. There's no, you know, crazy parties. It's not happening. And this event was always going to be related to Pride. But now I think it's more, I'm really glad I'm doing this, because I actually have 60 artists in this show, more than I've ever had before. And, you know, not all of them are people of color or people who identify as LGBTQ, but all of them are submitting rainbow-themed art under the umbrella of this art show.
Wow.
Sort of like, you know, sort of to show their own work, but also to support the cause overall. And not everyone will be available for an interview, but I will probably be doing mini interviews with around 30 to 40 people tomorrow. So, we'll see how that goes. It's going to take a while, and it might be a little messy. But yeah, this is a totally new experience for me, but I think I might do more of them. And in fact, I might do one more art show in October, another blacklight show.
Ooh, part two.
And although it's amazing in person, again, I have a gut feeling that it's going to be harder to do a real life event, even in October. So I'm planning on doing something like this, an art share, where artists share their work, and the theme of that will be black magic. So that will be very open to interpretation, but all the pieces will be glowing under black light. And just like I have a series of rainbow-themed models on this page with all the beautiful people and beautiful colors, came out amazing.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
I'm so happy, and I'm gonna personal plug here. I put a lot of work into this picture too. As you can see, I'm wearing the same green.
Green looks good on you, dude.
Painting
I'm not gonna lie, green do look great on you. It makes you look rich.
Thank you. Well, you know what? I was not going to participate in the photo shoot because I am neither a person of color or I don't identify as LGBTQ. But no one picked green. And I can't have a whole rainbow without green.
Without green,
it's my favorite color, and all of my art is green. So I'm like, you know what? Oh, I think it's okay. So I did it. And one more note on the show. Just like we have rainbow models here, I plan on having a whole host of blacklight models that do body painting and makeup. And that should look really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so floored and proud of you with the multitudes of what you freaking do. I mean, it's highly freaking talented. And like, you know, the thing about it, what makes it just so beautiful about the works and the shows of how you choose it, it comes and elaborates and it brings us all to unite and just really just love one another for the same purpose, is just the embracement of being just the art. And that brings me to the amazing last question. I think you practically partly said it, but I want you to just answer it with all your full might. How do you change the world with your art?
All right, so well, I guess number one with the art shows, the real purpose is to bring people together, and it's also to challenge them to explore new ideas that they might not have considered before. And I have very, very long-term plans for what I want to do in the future that I won't talk about right now.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I'm trying to move in a very particular direction with the types of shows that I have and with the types of artists and musicians I promote.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is I foresee the future as becoming more fantastic with every year. Technology is advancing at an incredible speed. We're learning more things about reality. And a lot of questions that we've had for a very long time as human beings, as a whole species throughout history. You know, what does the future hold? Are we alone in the universe?
Yeah.
What is there anything else outside of the reality that we live in? Questions like that, I think we should start taking more seriously, because we're starting to obtain the answers to some of those questions as we develop. And one thing I would like to do is to bring those visions I have of other worlds more into the real world. And because, you know, magic isn't real. I can't cast a spell and turn you into a frog. But magic is real in that you can take an idea from your mind, a realm that does not exist in reality, an idea that purely exists in the dimension of thought. You can transform that into something physical and turn that into real life. And that's, I think we're so used to things like smartphones and cars and electricity, we kind of take it for granted. But this was those things were like magic fever dreams of like an alchemist in the, I don't know, in like 2 AD, like in 2000, like thousands of years ago. If people could back then could see what we have now, they would be driven insane, because this is magic. You know, we're communicating through a metallic, artificially constructed, glowing, buzzing, humming electric device powered by like the energy of the universe, transmitting video and audio across the airwaves miles away instantaneously, and then sharing that to other people. That's unreal. That's unreal. But we don't think of it in those terms because it's so normalized. And what I would like to do with my art and my shows increasingly is share that kind of magical perspective. Like, we live in a magical reality, and I think we should take advantage of that.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Doug. I really appreciate your time. Once again,
thank you, DJ.
One and only Doug Rizio.
All right, thanks for listening, everyone. Let me know if you ever want to do this again in the future.
100%. Make sure to show them your Instagram page real quick so they can follow you.
Yeah. So one last thing. This is my art show page. Doug Rizio Art Shows on Instagram. And then if you want to see my own artwork, you can go to Doug Rizio at Instagram.
Yes.
So give me a stuff and want to see more. And thanks for watching, everyone.
Yes, thank you so much. Once again, we are all in this together. We're going to love one another. We're going to hug one another virtually. And most importantly, we're going to do art together. Thank you so much, Doug. I truly appreciate your time.
One last thing. My rainbow art show is tomorrow at 6 p.m. on Doug Rizio Art Shows at Facebook.com. And just follow me. You'll find it.
100%. Thank you so much, you guys. Once again, everybody stay blessed and safe and love. Thank you so much, Doug. Bye.
Bye, DJ.